Hey everybody, Belinda Wasser here from the Virtual Assistant Connection. How's everybody doing today? This is one of my favorite things. You guys hear me say that a lot probably. Almost every time I'm live in the group, I say, this is one of my favorite things. Well, I have to tell you what the favorite thing actually is hanging out with you guys. So I'm thrilled to be here. And so what today is about is getting your questions answered. So I came with my tea. I have to show you my super cool teacup right here. See the Virtual Assistant Connection that I got at Vistaprint. And I'm really here to answer your questions. While people are coming on, I'm going to tell you my story a little bit. There's so many new people in our community, and I want to make sure that that you all, that you know my story, because I didn't really share it at first. And I started to think about it, and I think it's important because I want you all to know that you can start from wherever you are. And Nicole is here. Hello, Nicole. How are you? From Norway. Watching while cooking dinner. Ah, yes, because you are hours and hours away from me. It's noon here, and I'm just having just getting ready for lunch. And Beatrice is here from Italy. Hello, we have all our European ladies here right now, which is fabulous. Okay, so lots more people just joined. So say hello, tell me where you're coming in from, and then just start pouring your questions in. And I'm going to spend, the whole hour today answering your questions, no matter what they are. If we need to, share my screen and look at an application or whatever it is, so just let me know. Nicole says it's 6 p.m. there. Wow, that's so funny. It's like, I think about that. Like, you've already had the day. I almost feel like saying, how did my day go? Because you've already had 6 more hours in some kind of crazy way that my mind works. So anyway, okay. So while you're putting your questions in, let me tell you a little bit about my story. This is me and Emily, my daughter, who is now 19. She is, she's 9 in this picture. I'm just taking it in for a minute. And where we were was not ideal. We were living in Boston, which I love Boston. And I hadn't been able to pay our mortgage for about a year. And I was getting divorced, single mom, no other source of income. I didn't have a job. I wasn't sure where I was going to get a job, how I was going to get a job, what I was going to do. But Emily, it took me a long time to have her, and I wanted to be a mom more than anything. And I didn't want her to be shuffled around from place to place. I wanted her to have, a home and a parent, with her. And I just was really committed to that. So the job that I had before was working in IT. I was a project manager and a director. And for any of you that have had a corporate job like that, you know that, you leave early in the morning, you get home at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night, and then you're all about dinner and whatever. And there's just no time for hanging out. And I didn't want that. So I didn't know what to do. And even more than that, my creativity was really being squelched because not only had I not paid the mortgage, and that was like a ton of bricks, because, the mortgage company, they're calling me. It's like, and I don't know what to tell them. And they're trying to work with me. And then, I had other debt, credit card debt. And again, they're calling me. I'm paying the electric bill the day it's due. It was just a lot to manage and a lot to handle by myself. So, and also I wanted to not transition or transfer any of that to Emily. With her, I wanted to be like, I got this, we're good, I'm figuring it out. And that was a lot of pressure as well. I was happy to do it, but I think if you've ever done this, you know what I mean. So what happened was I was temping, I was trying to figure it out. And one of the dads at the school bus stop asked me, he knew what I was up to, that I was looking for work, and he knew that I had administrative skills, and, we got to know each other. Our kids went to the same school for years. And so he said, would you come help me start a brand new business? And I said, sure. So I set up his QuickBooks, got the admin stuff going, set up, folders and, just organized him. And then the company moved to Florida, so that stopped. But I had I had the feeling of being productive and contributing to someone's business, and that was really important. For those of you who are just joining me, I'd love for you to put your questions in, because as soon as you start putting those questions in, I'm going to stop talking about me and start talking about you. All right, so put your questions in. I'd love to have them. So at that point, I'm still trying to figure it out, and enter Michael Katz. Michael Katz is someone who I followed for years. He wrote an email newsletter, and he wrote about marketing for solo professionals, people who worked on our own like us. And I read his book. I never really had any interaction with him. I was sort of starstruck by him. And then one day I went to a wedding, and he was there. And I pulled it together, and it went over. He was standing in line with his wife, getting food, and I introduced myself, and we talked for a little bit, and then I connected with him on LinkedIn the next day. And I was really nervous about that. It was so funny because, like, LinkedIn connecting with someone isn't really a big deal, but I don't know if it was because it was back then or because I was so uncomfortable connecting with people I didn't really know well, but I did it anyway. And shortly after that, I got a message from him on LinkedIn saying, do you know how to do credit card processing? And I did, because I had an online store for a long time. And that's what I did before I was Rocket Girl. And so he said, okay, great. So can you help me with this event at Constant Contact? And I said, you bet. So I helped him with the registration, helped him get everything, organized, went to the event. But what happened was we started working virtually, because he lives back then he lived an hour away from me. So I started to see how I could expand what I was doing for other people, because I really didn't need to meet them in person to do it. And so what happened was we learned that at the in-person event at Constant Contact, people wanted more of him, but they couldn't travel because it was just too far. So we started a series of webinars, and I built the website for the registration and the credit card processing. And I just started to figure it out. I didn't know what I was doing, but he paid me a retainer, which was, relatively small amount, but enough that I was starting to feel like money was coming in. And so the deal was that he helped me start my business, and I helped him with all of this, webinars and selling courses online. And it was brilliant. And what then happened is his clients started to see the work I was doing for him, and then I started getting referrals. And that's when my business really took off, and I felt like I can do this. Like, I can seriously do this. So questions are coming in, which is awesome. So I'm going to scoot through the rest of this, but this is Michael Katz. He has an ice cream party every year that I organize for him, and then I drive up to Boston to participate at Kimball Farm. And this is us several years ago. And now I live in Connecticut with Greg, my boyfriend, and my delicious daughter, Emily. And it's wonderful. Over the last 10 years, I've been in business for 10 years. My business is called Rocket Girl Solutions, and I've worked with over 200 clients, and I've made $100,000 a year. For the first year, I made about 70, and then I made over $100,000 for the next 9 years, which is over $1 million, which is kind of hard to believe. It's kind of hard to believe. So, all right, I'm going to stop sharing. Well, actually, I'm going to go. What am I going to do? I'm going to leave this for right now. Let me go back here. Okay, so let's jump into your questions. All right, I would love to serve creative business women with small businesses like sewers, quilters, card makers. Where would you say I can find these people? This is a really good question, Nicole. I don't have the specific answer to that. I'm just thinking about this for a second. Okay, I don't have an answer to where you're going to find them, but I do have an answer about having a niche. Okay, so a lot of people, and it's because there's so much written about the power of the niche or niche, however you say it, and how if you really hone in on one group of people, that's when you can specialize and start making a lot of money. And I decided I wanted to work with startups. I thought it would be cool. It would be fun. However, I didn't, other than the one person I worked with, I didn't know anybody who was doing a startup, and I had no idea where to find them. And then what really happened was that eventually I realized I did work with a couple startups that they weren't a good fit for me. It was the ones that I found, they're not all like this, but it was too stop and start. Their nephew was designing their logo, which is taking forever because he was a college student, a graphics student in college. And it was just, I couldn't get momentum. And I love the feeling of making stuff happen. So I decided to be more of a generalist, and eventually the niche that presented itself was solo professionals. So really people like me, people in similar age group, that need a similar group of service, a set of services. That's really how I was able to niche down. And it really didn't impact the amount that I charged at all, because I just steadily raised my rates over time. So the thing that I would suggest is to go broad and look for these people. Like, I'm sure that they hang out in certain places. Like who I like to work with are entrepreneurs who are, solo professionals. So I go to networking events where they are. There's a group called the Entrepreneurial Women's Club that I'm now co-director of, but I wasn't in the beginning. And I found a lot of clients there, not by searching them out. I was really looking for friends, and because I had just moved here. And so I invited them to coffee. So I would say I would stay broad while you're starting and see if you can discover places where they are. I mean, if you are, I'm just looking at your question again. I think you said you're a sewer. I'm a sewer too. And so if you're going to quilt shows, or, you're going to have to kind of strike up a conversation, because people want to hire people that have been referred to them. So I think you're just going to have to wiggle your way into their world, and, and get to know them, and to even see if they have a need. I have worked with a card maker before. I haven't worked with a sewer or a quilter, but you might even ask Lil Sklenarik. She's in the VIP club, and she's a quilter. She has a quilting business, and she might know where those people are hiding out. So I don't have, like I said, I'm sorry, I don't have like the specific answer to that, but that's what I'm thinking. And if you have a follow-on question, let me know. Okay. Beatrice says, if I have a work meeting with someone who is already my client, do I charge them for my time? Yes, absolutely. So how this works for me is I do a free 30-minute consultation before they become a client. Then if in case you don't know about the Rock Girl debit card, what happens is we have this 30-minute session. It's free. Sometimes it goes a little over. I've done videos, and actually, I think the weekly webinar for last week was about the 30-minute consultations. And so what happens is I meet with them. I'm listening for, do I want to work with them? And then they buy their debit card. The debit card is people prepaying my time in 5 or 10 hour chunks. And it's a virtual debit card. And once they buy my time with me ahead of time, then I consider them a client. We get on the phone or Zoom or whatever, and that's when I start charging them from hello. And every time we meet, I have clients, all I do is meet with them. I have one client, I meet with him every Friday for 30 minutes. We talk about his week, what's going on. And that is the work product. So yes, absolutely. And I do have clients that get on the phone and they start talking about their personal life, and that's on the clock too. It's a meeting, it's my time, and I'm happy to talk to them. I like it. And at first I felt strange about charging them, but I'm careful that I don't do any chit chat in the beginning. If they say, how was your week? I say, it's great. Yeah, it's great. And I just don't get into, I might say, Emily came home from college yesterday. It's awesome having her home. Boom, I'm done. I don't go into any detail unless they start asking me questions and it's stuff I want to talk about. Like if they said, how was it after having her home for 3 months or gone for 3 months or something like that. But I don't get into a story with them. And that makes me feel like, I'm ready to start working whenever they are, and when they are, they've had my attention, and I can't bill other time while they're telling me stories, and so that's really the thing. If I'm not able to bill and I'm not starting this conversation, it's all billable. I hope that helps, but yeah, definitely. Okay. Today I decided on my business name, yay, and now I have to decide where to buy my domain from. Do you suggest WordPress, Google Suite, or others? So I think you might be a little confused. How this works is you buy your domain from, you can buy it from a place where you host your website. Okay, hold on. You buy where you can buy it where you host your website, or you can buy it somewhere else. So, for example, there is a GoDaddy. You can get a hosting package and buy your domain. It's usually easiest in the beginning if you do them from the same place, because if you're going to set up the website and the email, it's all kind of together. Now, WordPress is a free application that you would download into your web hosting package. So you would buy a web hosting package, you would install WordPress for free, and you would associate the URL or the domain with your website. So that's how that works. Google Suite, as you know, is calendar and email. You can associate, so this is always tricky for me to explain. So how this works is there's paid Gmail and free Gmail. Free Gmail, the email address is whatever it is at gmail.com, right? So a lot of people have that. The other way is the paid way, which is $6 US a month. And that is whatever you want, mine's Belinda at rocketgirlsolutions.com. So it's using my domain and my VA connection at thevaconnection.com. It's using my domain, but I'm using Gmail. And so that's what I'm paying for. If you want to do that, that's separate from your website. I'm trying to think. So what you would do is you would buy your domain and set up your email and then set up your website. You can do either one. You're going to need to, I don't want to get too technical, but because I haven't thought about how to say this in this red hot minute, but there are different levels to what's called the DNS, which is associated with your URL. I learned all this the hard way by asking a million questions. And what happens is the DNS, and I think it's called CNAME, is associated with your website. So when someone types, yoururl.com, it takes them to the website. There's another layer, it's called the MX record, and that's what tells your email where to go. So when someone types your name at yourdomain.com for email, that's the MX record sends them to Google. So that all will happen where you're hosting your account. So I hope that made sense, but let me know if that didn't make sense, because really it's when you don't understand how to do it, it can be frustrating. But setting up Gmail is pretty simple. And one thing to tell you is there's a button when you set it up. It says, click here, it will automatically install. And sometimes you do that and it doesn't work. It says failed, try other method. Just click the button again, because it usually is on the second time. It says success, and you saved yourself sometimes 2 hours and just not enjoying yourself. So try it twice. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Now, you're going to want to, you can have WordPress host your site. I don't recommend that because you're going to bump up against functionality barriers. So for $3 a month or more, depending on where you go, you can host your website on something like GoDaddy, HostGator, one of those. And then you'll install WordPress. It'll be in the cPanel. You literally click a button and it's like, boom, it's done. And you can't believe how easy it was. And there's lots more to say about that, but I hope that answers your question. Okay, please put a follow-up question. And it sounds like you've seen that on video. That's awesome. Okay. Okay, do you find that they start avoiding phone calls or Zoom meetings if they're being charged for them? No. Not at all. Because what they're doing is they're telling me what the work is. So some people email me the work and some people want to talk about it because they don't know what it is. So I have some clients that I never talk to. Like I talked to them for 30 minutes. Maybe we talked one more time, and the rest of it just comes in email. or project management software, that's probably the least effective in terms of me understanding, because they've put a task, but there's no context. But typically what happens is I have meetings with clients. If it's something I'm doing for the first time, we usually, we get on Zoom or the phone, and they'll say, I want you to do this, that, and something else. And sometimes they make me videos. I make clients videos too, showing them how to do something. But no, it's an interesting question, because there have been clients that have sort of sheepishly said to me, but not for a long time, oh, are you charging me when we're talking? And you just have to take a deep breath and say, yes, absolutely. This is part of our work together, and stop talking. And if they don't want to do that, they might not be a good fit. But yeah, you definitely charge them for that, every minute of it. Okay. You're welcome. Okay. So Beatrice says, okay, so maybe I should check out GoDaddy, get the domain, then the website and email. Yeah, I think so. And Nicole is saying that she's with Name Hero, and it was simple to set up too. So I have websites. Well, I've had them all over the place. One thing though, definitely back them up. Now I know that so a couple things are popping into my head. One, when you're buying the domain and you're buying the web hosting, they're going to ask you and tell you get all this stuff for free, and you need all this extra stuff. You don't need any of it. So what will happen is they'll have your credit card, and then a year later, after the free whatever it is wears off, they're going to charge you. All right, so be careful about that. You can always add stuff, but it's more difficult to take it away and to remember that. So that's one thing. There's also a big banner at the top that will say, usually depending on who your host is for the website, but it'll say, let us help you install WordPress for only $250 or whatever it is. You really don't need that. You click the button, and then it just says installation complete. Now, if you have trouble, okay, maybe that needs to happen. But I found that I just really take advantage of the free tech support with the ISP. I'll get on chat and say, this didn't work, can you help me? With SSL certificates, as soon as I buy the SSL certificate, I hit chat. I say, hey, I just bought an SSL certificate. Can you help me with the setup? And they usually say, hold on, I'll do it for you. And I'm doing something else, and they say, it's all set. And I'm like, great. So you use that. And that's how I learned a lot too. Okay, so let's see, what do we got here? You guys are awesome with these questions. I love this. Hi, Belinda. When your packages are retainer packages set for X amount of hours per month, do you have the client choose what you do with those hours every week, or do you send them a proposal of how those hours will be spent that month? Great question. Okay, I do this completely differently. So I think I mentioned in my story, the retainer with Michael Katz. He's the only retainer. And how that works is completely unconventional. How it works is he pays me a certain amount of money every month. I do anything he wants, which is not an unreasonable amount, and probably very close to my current hourly rate. Some months there's a ton, like we're doing a webinar on Friday. It'll be the hour and a half of the webinar. I'll talk to him 30 minutes before. The night before, we're going to practice. I send out, the participant I do the whole thing. And so it's this big flurry of activity. And then there might not be anything for a week, but the deal with us is I'll do whatever he needs. And then my deal with him is he pays me, but he helps me with whatever I need. So all those VA connection, the VA buzz that you get on Monday morning, I write those and then he looks at them. So we have a very special relationship. So just in case that's where you got that idea, it's unusual. And it's a 10-year-old relationship that's been tested, and it's not going anywhere. So how I don't have retainer packages, because what happened was a couple of things. At first I did flat rate. So I'm going to get to this, but I did flat rate. But before I got hired, I had to work. I had to figure out, I had to ask all these questions, find out what they wanted. The clients usually do not understand the project. So now I have to rely on them to know what needs to be done when they don't. And I have a funny story about that. And if we have time, I'll tell it. But, they just don't know. And now I've done all this work and this research. They might look at my price and say no. they might hire somebody else. They might decide to put it on hold, and I've already got skin in the game. So I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. And we always went out of scope, no matter how hard I tried to not go out of scope for what I, said the project was. The client always didn't know something. And now I have to do this extra thing that's maybe only 20 minutes, but it's making me grumpy because I'm not getting paid for it. And the client doesn't even know that, because how much do you charge someone for 20 minutes, right? When it's a retainer or a flat rate project. So here's what I came up with. I prepay my time. Clients prepay my time, and it's called the Rocket Girl debit card. So they either buy 5 or 10-hour chunks, and it's good for a year. Takes all the pressure off. Some clients buy a debit card every month. Some buy a debit card every 2 weeks. Some buy a debit card twice a year, and some buy a debit card once a year. And either way, it doesn't matter. So they ask me to do something, and I deduct the time. I let them know every week how much time is left every Monday morning. So if they say to me, can you update my website? Here's the text. And 45 minutes is deducted, they just know that it took 45 minutes. And because I'm very religious about never missing a Monday, because I didn't do it for a while and made a big giant mess out of everything, because I had to go back to one client and say, oh, hi, I worked 20 hours above your debit card. He was very gracious and he paid me, but that was not a moment that I was excited about. So now I do it every Monday, and it also helps me project cash flow. Like, so-and-so needs this, and and it's going to take more time. Then I have other clients where I just have routine work. Like one woman, she buys a debit card about once a year, and I handle her social media. She sends me the information. I put it up. My job is to make sure she never goes a day without a LinkedIn post. And I just handle that. And she knows that's what's happening. And she sees the time going down, half hour here, half hour there. And she's very comfortable with it. So that's how I do that. So I don't send a proposal, but there is kind of an understanding. They tell me what to do, and then I take care of it. And I always let them know. Like I just finished a project for a client. She wanted me to take all of her SurveyMonkey surveys and put them into Jot form. So I sent her an email, the login is on your document. Here are the 3 links to the 3 surveys. I have these 3 questions. Let me know what you think. So she knows exactly what's happening. It's like we're in the next room. Okay, so let's move to the next question. That's what I've done, GoDaddy. Okay, yeah, I got to tell you, in the beginning of Rocket Girl, I did not like GoDaddy. I don't know what the problem was, but I like them now. I just chose them for one of my websites. So I do like them. Are you using StreamYard? I am. My question showed up as a Facebook user, but this doesn't usually happen when other people use it because I've given them permission in the past. Yes. So in the link to the live, there's something you can click to let StreamYard know who you are. So you'll see your name. Oh, good. Nicole just asked a really good question that I was going to say and forgot. So that's how that works. And I'm going to do a weekly webinar on how to use StreamYard because I love it so much. And someone wanted to learn about it. Okay. So if you have your website, no matter who you have your website with, you want to create a backup, a separate backup from what the ISP is doing for you. Because one time, a few years ago, I was with DreamHost. They lost my website, like gone, no backup, not even an apology, not even a free month. It was just gone. So I want you to make sure that you have something like Updraft. My guy uses something else. I actually don't know, and I don't set it up because I don't feel like I'm an expert at that. You want, if you're doing it yourself, make sure that you try to restore a backup to make sure it works. I think my lack of confidence came from working in, I was the director of operations for a nonprofit, and we had a backup and it wasn't backing up. And when we realized that, there was no catastrophe, but it just sort of shook me up. And so, because it was a whole company. So you want to make sure that there's a backup. You can also save a backup to your hard drive, but make sure you're not backing it up to the place where your website is, okay? Because that's really important. Good, Sherry. Okay, awesome. Okay. What do you use to track your time and show your clients your time deductions? I am happy to answer that. Okay. I use Toggle. And so there's a whole system. There's a course. It's called the debit card course. If you join VIP, which I'm going to talk about in a few minutes, or at the top of the hour, oh no, actually it's not. It's not in there as the bonus. It was a while ago. It's the done for you email newsletter system. Anyway, there's a course. If you look at the vaconnection.com and then you click on programs, you'll see a whole description of it. It steps you through the whole debit card system, like the whole thing. And many people have installed it and loved it. So, all right, so let's jump back to this. So I track it in Toggle. And then what happens is I have a spreadsheet that tracks how much time everybody has. So if, Bob Smith, if he had 10 hours and he used 1 hour, I call it a load file. It's a file that I upload to, the way I teach it in the course is you upload it to MailChimp, you upload it to your CRM to send out an email. So basically what happens is I subtract the hour. Now Bob has 9 hours. I upload it to my CRM. All my current debit card clients are tagged, and using custom fields, I send out an email to everybody. And basically what it says is, happy Monday. Let's see, what does it say? Happy Monday. I hope you're having a great week, or something like that. You have X number of hours. Your debit card is expiring on, it has a year later from when they bought it. To buy more hours, click here. To get on my schedule, click here. And then that goes out with one click. So it takes about 15 minutes every week. I've got 45 current clients right now, and it goes out to all of them, whether they have used any time or not. It's just a reminder of a couple things. One, what the expiration date is, because I don't want anyone to be surprised about that. And then they can click to buy more time. So what happens is on Monday and Tuesday, people who need more time, they click that link and the money just goes into my bank account. Stripe, I use Stripe. They sends them a receipt. I send them an email from me acknowledging the receipt of it. It's all automated and simple. I believe you mentioned that you don't work with contracts. Is that because the debit card system makes it unnecessary? That's a really good question. So something that I learned in my 30s was I had a contract with someone, and just because you have a contract with someone, it doesn't mean that they're going to do the right thing. So I have something else, and I'm going to tell you about it. If someone doesn't uphold a contract, at least in the US, you have to sue them. You have to hire an attorney. And the most that anyone will walk away from with me, or if something happens, is either $500 or $900. And where I live, an attorney at minimum is probably $300, $350 an hour. So it's not worth it for me. It's just not worth it for me. And I have had trouble with probably 2 clients and over 225 clients over 10 years. But it's just not worth it for me to have a contract. Now, that's not saying you should have one. I mean, everybody's got a different level of risk. It's just, and comfort. However, I do have a letter that I send out, and it sort of rules of the road. It explains, it explains how my pricing works. It explains how to get on my calendar. It tells them when I'm at my desk. It tells them my phone number if they want to call me. It tells them everything that I can think about, for my business, that I'll be in touch with them, within 24 hours after they email me. I'm always looking for, quick requests and emergencies, things like that. So why I did that was because, and I'm like a broken record, but everything is because I walked into a wall and I was like, oh, I should fix that. So clients kept asking me for a long time, okay, I bought my debit card, what now? And I remember one time saying to someone, we just get started, we just work together. And then I thought, that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard you say. So I sat down and I wrote a letter. I'm not a brilliant writer. So I, had an editor look at it, and I've been using the same letter for years and years and years. And so that's what I do. So they don't sign it. I just sign, Belinda. It's all digital, but that's what I do. Yeah, so Nicole's backing up with Updraft to Google Drive. Really smart. How do you keep track of debit card expiration dates after a year? Is that explained in the course? It is, I'll tell you, but it's definitely explained in the course. So what happens is I have this Excel spreadsheet. Okay, well, all right, let me back up. I have a revenue tracking spreadsheet where every time someone buys a debit card, I put the date, their name, the number of hours they purchased, and how much it was. And the reason I do that is because in this revenue tracking spreadsheet, which I think is in VIP, and I'm pretty sure it is in the vault. If it's not, I can add it. What happens is I can project my revenue for the year. So let's say in January I sell, 10 debit card courses. 10 debit cards, and they're $500 each. That's a certain amount of money, and then I have money coming in from passive revenue like affiliate income. I have my retainer with Michael Katz, and it all adds up together and it gives me a number. And then what happens is each month the number continues to go into this little chart that I've made, and I have set it up so I can see the average per month of what I'm making, and then I can multiply that by the month we're in. So let's say I made $5,000 in January and $6,000 in February. So that means I made $11,000. So my average month is $10,005. Wait, I'm doing that wrong. I'm not good at math. This is why I have a spreadsheet. It's 5,500. That's my average. So then I can multiply that by 12 and get like an idea of how much I'm going to make for the whole year if things stay on track. And then I'm just able to watch that. So I have the expiration dates there, but then what happens is I have a separate spreadsheet that I keep track of my my current debit card clients, and that's where I put the expiration date. And when they buy another debit card, I just update that, and that's what gets sent to them. So that's how I keep track of it. I hope that made sense, but it's completely explained in the course. All right, you guys, it doesn't look like there's any more questions right now, but I'm going to hang for a minute because I know that there's a delay, and we still have more time if you want it. We still have another 20 minutes, and there's a bunch of you on. So I'm going to sip my tea for a minute. Someone asked me last time where I got this cup, and I got it at Vistaprint. It was very affordable and fun. So you guys can ask me a question about anything at all, whatever's coming to mind. What are the things that, stump you when you're working with clients or, setting up your business? I'm going to make sure that I got all the questions. That's very exciting, Beatrice, that you have your company name. That's, that for me was, I remember when I named my business, and I even remember where I was standing. And it was funny because I was driving everybody crazy because it's not true, but I didn't think that I could get a business card or a website, or it was like I was totally frozen until I got the business name. So that's a very liberating feeling to know your business name. And if you don't know what it is right away, you can make it, Belinda Wasser Virtual Services, with your name, and then you can always shift your branding later. Okay, so. Let's see. Oh, thank you guys. I've got 3 questions. Okay. I check my email all day. So, but I don't answer it all day. So what happens is I run my life on my Google Calendar. I've done it different ways, at different points of my virtual assistant career, because you'll find over time that the way clients are working with me is it's sometimes it's different. Like there are times when, for whatever reason, I'm working for small businesses and they have a team and they have a marketing person and I have to be in some meeting, and there's other times when the people I'm working with mostly are okay with email. I have one client I don't even know how long I've worked with him. I should look, but it's been maybe 3 or 4 years. I think it's been 5 years. 5 years, and I never laid eyes on him until the pandemic because we were on a Zoom meeting. I don't know why we did that, but we did. And I talked to him once in the beginning. He told me what he wanted me to do, and I just did it. I did his newsletters. We had a system. He was really good at answering my questions in email, like in minutes. And that, as you know, is, that's a dream client because you can just keep going. But so what happens is, like today, I was working on Maya's work. I was doing her jot forms. I got it all set up, what she wanted to do. I put the time, closed everything down, noted the time and teamwork, looked at my calendar to see what was next, and then, which was you guys. And then I glanced at my email. Nothing needed attention. So now I'm here. If something needed attention, I would either add it to my calendar as a to-do or just keep going. I do try to do one thing at a time and stick with it. Sometimes, an email, I'll be waiting for an email and it's going to trigger something else and I'm working on something that's not time sensitive. So I actually shift in my head. What I'll say is, okay, so I'm doing this, and then I take a second. One of my clients, she's an actress, and she says you should take a beat. She says this in her trainings with her corporate clients, like a heartbeat. So what happens is I see the email come in, I take a beat, like, okay, and then I say, I'm shifting to this, and then I do the same thing. I'm shifting back, because otherwise for me, it feels like frantic. So Maria says, when did you form your LLC? I am a sole proprietor. Rocket Girl is a sole proprietor. The VA Connection is an LLC. The thing to do is talk to your attorney and your tax professional. LLC does offer a layer of sort of buffer, and also it can have a tax implication. I'm not at the revenue point where my boyfriend's a CPA, he does all my taxes, and we just actually talked about this 3 days ago, because I'm balancing my books for the year, because I want to make sure that whatever money I have to save for January 15th, I have ready. And the only way to do that is to know how much, I know how much money I made because I track the revenue, but the expenses and all of that, I need to know what that number is. So this time of year, I start to pull that together for him. And the Rocket Girl is not at that point. And for the VA Connection, it's a brand new business. So I just went ahead and did it. And I've thought about it for Rocket Girl. I just haven't done it. But it is pretty straightforward. And if you have any leanings toward that, I would go ahead and do it. I think I've just seen over time, I'm working with people who are referrals, and everyone is very friendly, and I also don't own a home and all that stuff because of everything that happened. So, there's not a lot really to protect at this point. But ask your professionals. And when do you check and engage with social media? That is a good question. I check. So if you're asking, there's sort of two sides of me. There's the Rocket Girl side, which is before the VA Connection, which of course is very Facebook and social media centric. I probably, checked in maybe once a day because I just didn't have a ton of stuff going on. I have LinkedIn. LinkedIn sends me an email when someone comments on one of my posts. So I try to comment back on those the same day when at all possible, because I want to keep that connection going. Facebook is where I'm the most comfortable. I'm comfortable on LinkedIn, but that's where I have the most fun, there, and Instagram. So, I check in like everybody else, while I'm waiting for my lunch to cook or, whatever. And then I'm more systematic about the VA Connection. I try to, in the VIP club, I'm in and out, kind of in between things all day. And then with the virtual assistant connection, I'm definitely in there in the evenings. I'm checking everything out, and in the morning, depending on what my schedule is. All right, so Beatrice has so many questions. I'll ask another. Okay, good. Yeah, you guys, you're welcome to. There's not just one question per person. So how do I make myself visible on LinkedIn? Okay, so the first thing I would do is go over to the VIP Vault. There is a webinar called something like, I don't know, something LinkedIn. And it's the only one about LinkedIn that's there. And I start at the top of the LinkedIn profile and I go all the way to the bottom and I give you the full deal. So what you want to do is you want to get a profile if you don't have it already. You want to get a professional headshot. I'm just looking, the headshot that you have there is really pretty. So you could use that. You want to, I recommend that you, in your headline, instead of having a job title, you look at mine, it says something like, virtual assistant for solo professionals. So it's a way, that is what's seen when you post. So you don't want to, you want to get as specific as you can. You'll want to put your, your description of your business. Watch that webinar and also look at my LinkedIn because I spent a ton of time on it, and you can see, you can see how to set it up. And it sounds like your question is how to make yourself visible. So how you make yourself visible is by posting. You can either post a link to a newsletter that you've written and send people to your website with a nice graphic. That's how I use LinkedIn. And another way to use LinkedIn is to, if you've written an article or a newsletter and it's on your blog, you can also post it as an article. If you look at the top of LinkedIn, not your profile, but the top of the LinkedIn homepage, you'll see where you can write a post. You can also write an article. You can put an image. You can put the title, put the full post, and then at the bottom, I recommend putting a really brief bio. And you can look at mine. And I know that there's a link to your LinkedIn profile at the bottom, but it's just, I do this for all my clients. They totally love it. So this is good too. Do it for yourself and then show it to your clients. It's like a 3-line bio. It invites them to sign up for my newsletter, and it just tells a little bit about me. There's a link to my website. So I'm not sure if I just thought this or I said it, so I'm going to say it again. Sorry if I did, but you can post other people's content. I don't think I said it. So if you see an article on Inc. or Entrepreneur and you think it's cool, comment on it and then share that if it's, if you think it's valuable. I also post on there speaking engagements, things like that, things that I want to try to gain visibility. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so I think you're talking about your name. I know. Oh my gosh, I drove people really crazy until I named my business. It was kind of a thing. Okay. Okay, great. I'm in the VIP club and I want to purchase the debit card course. How do I get the discount? Should I email you for a promo code? You don't have to do that. So what you do is you go into the VIP club, not the Facebook group, but you log in at the VA Connection /login, and it's Kajabi, it's the back end, it's how where everything is, and you put in your username and password, and you'll see where you can go into the VIP club where the vault is and all that. There's a link, it says membership deets. Click on that and you'll see discount code. Just click on that. It's right there. It's just right there and that'll work. Okay. So that's how you get the promo code. If that doesn't make sense, you can email me, Belinda@thevaconnection.com, and I'll send you the link. Okay. It's the holidays. Do you send out holiday cards or e-cards to my client? Oh, okay. So I send out cards. I do. In fact, let me show you something right here. Hold on a second. These are going out on the 10th. Cards right here. Client cards right here. The StreamYard is backwards. That's why I can't tell which way to go, but they've got stamps on them. They're all ready to go. My client sent these to me a couple weeks ago, and I charge by the hour, just like I charge for everything else. So they would, buy a debit card, and however long it takes me. I usually don't do it in my office because I need to spread out a little bit, and my desk has my keyboard and stuff. So I usually go to the dining room and spread it out. And I typically I think you can buy stamps online, and I should look into that. And if I did that, I would use my client's credit card for the stamps. But what I do is I use my credit card to buy the stamps. And then I, at the post office, I take a picture of the receipt and then he sends me the money. So that's how that works. The other thing I've done too, excuse me, is I've had, I'm trying to think how this worked. My graphics guy, Mark, created custom cards for some of my clients, and I managed that process, and I managed the ordering and the printing. And then I had the cards sent to my client, and I had the envelopes sent. She has another VA. She sent them to her, and she hand wrote the outside, or maybe she put labels on, I don't know, and then put all those envelopes. You have to be organized to do this because it takes time. Send all those envelopes to Martha, and then either that or maybe she sent the cards to her VA. That probably makes more sense. And with the stamps, and then the VA sent them out. So there's a lot of creative ways you can work with people sending the cards out. So what happens with those is those are from Vistaprint. They get sent to me. The client, he actually sends cards out every single month. And then he just tells me, I have a merge document that I made with all the stickers. And if he's changing, taking someone off or putting them, adding someone new, he lets me know, and I just change them. Okay. Oh, thank you. Okay. It's called the webinar about LinkedIn. I thought it was called Let's Talk About LinkedIn, but I couldn't remember. Yeah, it's my best stuff. Like I start at the top, I go all the way down. And the other thing is I have a friend who, she's really good at LinkedIn too. And I'm going to try to get her to come as the guest expert. I just confirmed our guest expert in the VIP club is going to be Lisa Corrado in December. I don't know the date off the top of my head, but she just sent me what she's going to talk about, and I'm going to post it probably Saturday. She's going to talk about goal setting. She is a goal setting rock star. And so we're going to talk a lot about goals in December as we get ready for 2021. Then in February, both of these women are clients and friends. My client and friend Scarlett DeBees is going to come and talk about how to look your best when you're working virtually. She helps me with my clothes. When I moved here, people are a lot fancier than they were in Boston, and I needed some help pulling my clothes together. So she went through the clothes I already had and made really great outfits. And so I don't know specifically what she's going to talk about, but I do know it's about building confidence and dressing for working virtually. Okay. All right. So Sherry's got to run. All right, Sherry. Good, good, good. Maria says you can buy stamps online, but it takes 2 weeks to get them. Oh, well, you know what? That would be okay because I don't know what. Well, I know why, because of COVID. I don't like going to the post office, so I mail them in a mailbox, but I have to go get them, which isn't terrible, but it's just a place. So I will look into that because I already know I know 2 weeks out what he's going to do. Okay. Why do you prefer solo professionals? That's a really good question. Okay, so when I worked in corporate, I almost always worked for the boss, directly for the boss. So I was either the admin to the boss or, and I like that because I like working with people who are able to make decisions. And I like working with people who can make decisions without having to ask anybody. So a solo professional, they just, they might have to, they might want to think about it, but typically they make decisions pretty quickly and I can get to work. So there's not a lot of fuss. I have a client right now who, I'm not sure how long this is going to last, but I am on a team. And I'm on a team with the marketing guy and the PR firm, and there's a lot of chit chat and a lot of sort of posturing, and I'm not really sure who's in charge of what, and it's hard to get anything done. And I have to work with a lot of people. Something as simple as a newsletter, I have to talk to a lot of people, to get it done and to get the pieces I need. Where if I'm working with one person, I know where to go, and they answer my questions. So that's really it more than anything. And I think that since I consider myself a solo professional, I attract them and I like them. And a big part of what I do in my Rocket Girl business is what I do for them. So, I'm helping them with their LinkedIn profiles. I'm helping them, with their presentations. All the things that I do for Rocket Girl and a little bit more, but almost everything I do for them, I do for myself. And so that's what's happened is my business, and I talk about this a lot, is sort of a display case where if someone goes to my website, they see I know how to do Acuity because I have it on my website. So I've installed Acuity for so many people because they see it. So it really started from my business and how I wanted it to be over time. I mean, I didn't have all this stuff in place at the beginning. I had, my cell phone and a notebook, a laptop. I had no idea what I was doing, but a little over time I did that. So that's why I like solo professionals. And it's the same reason that I don't like to work in big companies because my last job, I was in a big company. I couldn't get anything done. I was just in meetings, and the other people don't seem to mind that. And they don't even seem to notice it because I was in one of those meetings yesterday, and I thought, oh my God, does anyone else just want to kill themselves? And I don't think they do, but that's why. Okay. Has anyone thought of sending e-cards instead of paper cards because of COVID, or is that not acceptable in the business world? You can totally do that. You can totally send e-cards. Let me show you. We just have a minute, but I know exactly where it is. I have, let me show you some cards that you can do. So I think there's like Jackie Lawson or something does e-cards. Let me show you some cards I've done in the past. I take this package with me when I do speaking engagements to show examples. So here's a card that my guy Mark did. This was not inexpensive, but you guys are so smart. You could probably do this on Canva. So here's a card with my Rocket Girl. This is the first one we did. And then, Happy New Year. And this is 2015. So the rocket is going off. Then this is one he did. It's going to be a blast. That's a little cockatiel. I have a pet cockatiel that I'll show you him. He sits next to me. There he is right there. He has a little TV tray and he sits next to me all day long. And so when I got him, when we got him, I put him in my card. And then, I say to people all the time, fasten your seatbelt. So I made kind of a joke about that. And then let's see, I think there was I like martinis. So in 2016, you can see the swizzle stick is a rocket. And then here's the inside. And I say fabulous a lot. so we did that. There are other cards I've done. There's send out cards. I used to do these to stay in touch with people. And I had, let me find a good one. Here we go. So here I had Mark design, and again, you guys could probably do this, but I'm terrible at this. He designed the cover, and then I would take pictures places. So this is me a few years ago. I look a lot younger with at a wax museum. And, with an idea, it says, be real, having a small business has many advantages, take pride in being who you are. And I am all about that. So that is some ways that you can use cards, and e-cards are great too. Let's see. I wanted to thank you for sharing info about not having a contract because it would be so much work. I know to draft in Italian and then translate. Yeah. I can't speak to what happens in Italy other than a lot of good food and beautiful buildings, but, ask somebody that you trust. If you have a friend who's an attorney, or your friend's husband's an attorney, or your friend's wife's an attorney, ask them. But that's just the decision I made for myself. Is it hard to get affiliates? Do you have a certain number of clients before companies will collaborate with you? When you say affiliates, do you mean like, well, I was talking about passive revenue. Is that what you're talking about? No, you don't have to have any, like, you just sign up for it. So here, I'll give you an example. My friend and client, Michael Katz, wanted to get Infusionsoft. And so I didn't have any clients that knew how to do it. And I was going to learn it, as part of our deal. And I said to him, hey, they have an affiliate program. Do you mind if I sign up for it and then put you under me? That's the language. So I did. And that was so long ago. I don't even know, 7 years. Every 3 months, they send me $134.40 every 3 months, because he's paying whatever he's paying. Passive revenue. Yes. So you can do that. You don't even have to have Some of them you have to have an account, some of you don't. Some will send you money, some will give you free months, some don't do anything. They don't have a program. All you do is just Google it. Like Google, Infusionsoft affiliate program, or Google, and you have to be upfront about it. You have to tell your clients, and it's simple. You just say, is it okay if I use my affiliate link? And if they don't know what that is, you can say it's a partnership I have with the company, and they compensate me. I only refer companies that I love. I love this company. I use them, and sometimes they get a benefit. There's some program, I can't remember what it is, but if they sign up when they pay, they get $30 and you get $30 or something like that. So sometimes it's really good, and those are the smart companies, because then you just tell the client that, and they think you're a genius. You're saving the money. Okay. Maria said okay, so you did see his tail. It's right there. And I just moved him because I'm organizing my office. I'm going to show you guys when I'm done, but he was too close to the dresser, and there's books on the dresser, and he was jumping over there and eating my books, and I don't like that. So I had to scoot him over. I'm working that out. He is quiet sometimes. All other times, like I tell Greg, I'm going to set him free. I'm just going to set him free. Of course, I'm joking. All right, so thank you for all these questions, you guys. All right, so we have one more after this, and then we're gonna sign off for a little bit. Okay, so they definitely do think of killing themselves in big call meetings. LOL. I have an ex-colleague who is not dressing for work from home, bad habit, and is doing her hair. Oh my gosh, putting on mascara and pulling her scarf on so they can't see her PJs. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. So I have done that. Like, trying to remember, there was something I had with you guys, and I had my nightgown on and a fleece, and I brushed my hair, and I was like, okay, I'm ready. Cause I don't remember what happened. Like I overslept or something, but anyway, yeah, that's not good. It's not a good habit, but sometimes it happens. Yeah. And yes, they said they were talking about passive revenue. Okay. Here's our last question. Are you having to share your office during COVID? Any tips for sharing, because we are now 10 months in, and my husband might be my most annoying colleague yet. Okay. All right. We don't share the office. Well, we share the house. Greg is not currently working, so he's mostly outside a lot, but he's gotten really good. I had to train him and my daughter and his children. When I first moved in here, he has 4 boys. One of them was living with us. He just walk in my office and start talking to me. Like, I'm on the phone. And I take working seriously. I am at my desk all day. I have stuff to do. I already know what I'm going to do as soon as we're done here. So I just had to explain to them, like, this is my office. And part of the trouble is me, because I hear Greg come in and I like him. I want to go see him. So I hear him, open the door, and I'm like, oh, I wonder what he's doing. So I have to train myself as well. But yeah, you just need to create space. I don't know if you can, like, if you're talking about your actual office, I would just move somewhere else. I have worked in the corner of a lot of things. I've worked in the corner of actually a storage room, which it was storage of my stuff, and it was in the house, so it wasn't terrible, but it was still a storage room. I have worked in the corner of the living room. I have worked in the corner of the dining room in a bay window. That was annoying because I lived in the city and I was literally over the sidewalk, and there were sirens all the time. And then I've also worked in the corner, like our bedroom has closets dividing the room into 2 different sides. I worked there. This is my first office with a door, and I am loving it. It took me 10 years to get it, and I'm decorating it. I can't wait to show you guys painting. We're having so much fun. So I would just, I think I would maybe, if he's asking a lot of questions, because that does happen, maybe just explain to him nicely in a way that doesn't make him feel bad or unsupportive, that you just need these chunks of time, or something like that, and how much you're excited to contribute to your family, and this is your way to do that. So good luck with that. Okay, thank you guys. This is so much fun. You can see why I always say this is one of my favorite things, because I love being live with you guys. It's It's a blast. All right, so we are broadcasting this right now on YouTube, Periscope, and in the Facebook group. This video will be in the Facebook groups. I have no plans of taking it down. So if you're watching it here and you have additional comments, please just add them. I'll pin it to the top of the group for a couple weeks or so. And then if you're watching on Periscope or YouTube, click the subscribe button on YouTube so you'll be notified when we go live. And Beatrice says, thank you so much. You are so welcome. I love this. And if there's topics you want me to talk about in the weekly webinar for the VIP club members, just let me know and I'll be happy to do that. Okay, I'm just going to put one more thing up because I've been talking about it a lot. And I had another slide, but we're not going to take the time to do that. One moment. I thought I had it. I was going to give you the URL for VIP. I guess I don't have it. So I was just looking for a banner. Just go to the vaconnection.com, click it on programs at the top, and you'll see all the information right there. Okay, guys, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you soon. Bye.